The dangerous myth about vegetables after 60. What if I told you that not all vegetables are good for you, especially after 60? For years, we've heard the same advice: eat your veggies. They're always healthy. But here's the truth that almost no one talks about, and it could be quietly sabotaging your health. Some vegetables that seem perfectly harmless can actually spike your blood sugar, inflame your joints, and cloud your memory. In fact, shocking studies now show certain vegetables may increase the risk of death by up to 83%, and 99% of older adults have no idea. Yes, you heard that right, and chances are, one of the most dangerous vegetables is sitting in your kitchen right now, the same one linked to a 91% higher risk of heart failure in older adults. Now don't worry, this video isn't about scaring you. It's about giving you clarity. In today's breakdown, we're going to reveal 4 vegetables you should absolutely avoid, and 4 you need to eat more of if you want to stay strong, sharp, and energized well into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. We've ranked them from least to most dangerous, and from least to most essential, so you'll know exactly what to keep, and what to toss. So, before you take your next bite, ask yourself, is this really helping my health, or quietly hurting it? Let's find out, and get your body back on your side. The hidden power of purple cabbage after 60. More than just a colorful crunch. If you're over 60 and looking for a simple, affordable way to protect your heart, ease inflammation, and boost digestion, it might be time to take a second look at something you've probably walked past 100 times in the produce aisle: purple cabbage. Now, don't let the color fool you. This vibrant vegetable isn't just about looks. What gives it that deep purple hue is a group of powerful antioxidants called anthocyanins. And these aren't just buzzwords, they're compounds that actively fight the free radicals that speed up aging, damage your cells, and make inflammation worse. A 2020 study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors who ate more anthocyanin-rich vegetables, like purple cabbage, had a 24% lower risk of heart disease. That's not a small number. That's the kind of reduction you'd expect from long-term medication, not from a cabbage you can pick up for a few dollars. But the benefits don't stop with your heart. Purple cabbage is also packed with prebiotic fibers that feed the healthy bacteria in your gut. And when your gut is thriving, your immune system gets stronger, your digestion improves, and your body gets better at absorbing nutrients from the food you eat. So how do you eat it to get the most benefits? Keep it simple. Shred it raw into salads. Toss it lightly in a stir-fry. Mix it into slaws with apple cider vinegar and olive oil. That combo doesn't just taste great. It helps your body absorb those anti-inflammatory compounds even better. Here's the bottom line. This humble cabbage is doing big things behind the scenes. It supports your heart, your gut, your immune system, and it stores well for weeks in the fridge. If you've been dealing with joint pain, blood pressure issues, or sluggish digestion, adding purple cabbage to your plate might be one of the smartest moves you can make right now. Not flashy, but powerful where it matters most: inside. This overlooked green pod could help stabilize your blood sugar after 60. Let me ask you something. Have you ever dismissed okra because of its texture? You're not alone. Many people avoid this green vegetable because it feels a little slimy when cooked. But once you learn what it can do for your body, especially after age 60, you might want to give it a second look. Okra contains a unique gel-like fiber called mucilage. This substance slows down the absorption of sugar in your digestive system, and that one mechanism can be a game changer. Why? Because as we age, our cells become less responsive to insulin, the hormone responsible for moving sugar from your bloodstream into your muscles and organs. That leads to blood sugar spikes, fatigue, and even long-term complications like diabetes or heart disease. Now here's the science. A 2021 study in Food Science and Nutrition found that people who consumed okra daily for just 8 weeks reduced their fasting blood sugar by more than 20%. That's a drop you'd expect from medication, not a vegetable. But it doesn't stop there. Okra is also rich in quercetin and flavonoids, which are potent antioxidants that fight oxidative stress, the type that contributes to brain fog and heart issues. Add in vitamin K for bone strength and folate for red blood cell production. And you've got one powerful plant. So how should you cook it to keep the benefits? Steaming or tossing into soups keeps nutrients intact without triggering that overly slimy texture. You can also roast it at high heat until it crisps. It's delicious and easy. Just skip the deep frying. That ruins everything you're trying to fix. If you're serious about managing blood sugar, preserving brain clarity, and keeping your bones and heart strong, okra may be one of the simplest tools you haven't tried yet. Sometimes the best medicine doesn't come in a pill, it comes in a pod. The bright red root that opens blood vessels and boosts brain power after 60. If you're over 60 and dealing with high blood pressure, poor circulation, or brain fog, there's one vegetable you might be overlooking: beetroot. Beets aren't just colorful and earthy. They're one of the most powerful natural sources of dietary nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide. Why does that matter? Because nitric oxide is like a natural relaxant for your blood vessels. It helps them open up, improves circulation, and reduces the pressure on your heart, a process that becomes more critical as we age and our arteries start to stiffen. In fact, a 2019 clinical study in hypertension research showed that drinking beetroot juice daily reduced systolic blood pressure by 11 points in older adults. That's a dramatic shift, without a prescription. But better circulation isn't just about heart health. Your brain also depends on steady blood flow to stay sharp. A 2017 study found that older adults who consumed beetroot before exercise had increased blood flow to the frontal lobe, the part of the brain responsible for memory and decision-making. Beets also fight inflammation thanks to compounds called betalains, and they're loaded with folate and manganese, which support red blood cell production and energy metabolism, two things that naturally decline with age. So how do you add beets to your day without overcomplicating it? Roasting them in the oven brings out their natural sweetness while preserving nutrients. Blending them into a smoothie with apple and ginger makes a refreshing brain-boosting drink. Beet juice is great too, just make sure it's 100% pure. With no added sugar. And if you're short on time? Pre-cooked, vacuum-packed beets are ready to slice and serve. Bottom line, this one vegetable can lower your blood pressure, sharpen your mind, and fight inflammation, all at once. For something so simple, beetroot packs a powerful punch. The green superfood that could shield your brain and heart after 60. If there's one vegetable that truly earns the title, superfood, after age 60, it's kale. This dark leafy green might not look flashy, but inside, it's doing the kind of heavy lifting your body desperately needs as you age. What sets kale apart? It's rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, powerful antioxidants that specifically protect your eyes and brain. And if you're concerned about cognitive decline or vision loss, as many seniors are, these compounds are essential. A 2020 study in neurology found that people who consumed high levels of these nutrients had a 32% slower rate of cognitive decline than those who didn't. But kale doesn't stop there. It's packed with potassium, which balances out the sodium in your diet and helps lower blood pressure. It also delivers magnesium, a mineral that regulates heartbeat and reduces your risk of arrhythmias, something that becomes more common after 60. And with vitamin K, kale supports strong bones and keeps calcium from hardening inside your arteries, a silent but dangerous contributor to heart disease. Add to that a load of flavonoids and glucosinolates, natural anti-inflammatory compounds, and you've got a food that doesn't just protect. It actively works to reverse damage caused by aging, stress, and poor diet. But here's the part many people overlook: raw kale is not for everyone. Especially if you have thyroid issues. Eating it raw in large amounts can interfere with thyroid function. The fix is simple: lightly sauté it in olive oil with garlic. Blend it into soups, or bake it into crisp, delicious kale chips. Just 3 to 5 minutes of heat unlocks all the benefits, and avoids the risks. So if you're looking for one easy upgrade to your daily plate, one that supports your heart, brain, bones, and more, start with kale. At this age, every bite matters, and this green? It's one of the smartest you can choose. The everyday green that quietly fights inflammation, supports digestion, and protects your bones after 60. Let's talk about one vegetable that might already be sitting in your fridge, and quietly delivering some of the most powerful age-defying benefits you can get from food: broccoli. At first glance, broccoli seems basic, familiar, maybe even boring. But behind those tiny green florets is a dense network of nutrients designed to do exactly what your body needs after 60: fight inflammation, support digestion, and strengthen your bones from the inside out. Broccoli is rich in sulforaphane, a natural compound that's been shown to reduce inflammation at the cellular level, the kind of inflammation that builds up silently over the years and leads to joint pain, brain fog, and cardiovascular strain. In fact, sulforaphane has been studied for its role in detoxifying harmful compounds, making it a key player in protecting aging cells from damage. But that's just the beginning. Broccoli also delivers high levels of vitamin K and calcium, two nutrients your bones desperately need, especially as the risk of fractures, falls, and osteoporosis rises with age. Many people think dairy is the only source of calcium, but broccoli offers a plant-based option that's easier to digest and naturally anti-inflammatory. And let's not forget its fiber. After 60, your gut becomes more sensitive, and digestion often slows. Broccoli provides both soluble and insoluble fiber, helping to regulate your bowels, feed good gut bacteria, and enhance nutrient absorption from other foods you eat. Better digestion means better immunity, better energy, and less bloating or discomfort after meals. The key is in the preparation. Overcooking broccoli destroys many of its antioxidants. Instead, lightly steam it, sauté with garlic and olive oil, or roast it with a sprinkle of turmeric and black pepper for an extra anti-inflammatory boost. Broccoli may not be flashy, but it's one of the most comprehensive health protectors you can put on your plate. And for adults over 60? It's a small habit that delivers powerful returns in strength, clarity, and resilience. The hidden danger of corn after 60, and what to eat instead. Corn, it's in soups, casseroles, side dishes, even those so-called healthy snack bars. But if you're over 60, this familiar vegetable might be working against your health more than you think. The problem isn't the taste. It's the glycemic load. Corn has a high glycemic index, which means it spikes your blood sugar rapidly, often faster than some sugary breakfast cereals. And that spike? It doesn't just leave you feeling tired and foggy after meals. Over time, it pushes your body toward insulin resistance, which can quietly develop into prediabetes or full-blown type 2 diabetes. A 2020 study published in Diabetes Care found that older adults who regularly consumed high glycemic vegetables like corn had a 46% higher risk of insulin resistance and cardiovascular disease. That's not a small number, and it's not just theory. Many seniors report feeling drained, sleepy, or mentally scattered after corn-heavy meals. And the connection is real. And it doesn't stop there. Corn-based products, especially creamed corn, canned sweet corn, and corn syrup-laced snacks, often come with added sugars or processed oils, which amplify the damage. You're not just getting quick carbs, you're fueling a roller coaster of energy dips, cravings, and long-term inflammation. So what's the smarter choice? If you love that sweet, starchy texture, swap corn for low glycemic vegetables like zucchini or cauliflower. They're easier on your blood sugar, support steady energy, and still give you that satisfying bite. Because after 60, every bite counts, and choosing the right kind of carbohydrate could mean the difference between stable energy and silent decline. Why regular potatoes might be spiking your blood pressure after 60. Potatoes might feel like the ultimate comfort food, mashed, fried, baked. They show up in almost every meal. But if you're over 60, it's time to take a hard look at what those potatoes might be doing inside your body. Here's the science. Regular white potatoes are extremely high in starch, which means they convert to sugar fast. That rapid spike in blood sugar leads to a surge in insulin, and over time, your body starts to resist it. This not only increases your risk of type 2 diabetes, but also puts strain on your heart and arteries. In fact, a 2016 study in BMJ found that eating potatoes 4 or more times per week raised the risk of high blood pressure by 33%. But it's not just the sugar surge. Think about how potatoes are usually prepared: fried in oil, mashed with butter and cream, are coated in salt. Those delicious versions actually form a compound called acrylamide when cooked at high heat, a toxin linked to inflammation and even nerve damage. You may feel that as brain fog, fatigue after meals, or heavy legs that recover more slowly than they used to. And while potatoes feel filling, they're low in fiber and nutrients unless you eat the skin, which most people don't. So what's the smarter alternative? Try roasted sweet potatoes. They're lower on the glycemic index, packed with fiber and antioxidants. And when baked with olive oil and a pinch of cinnamon, they help stabilize blood sugar instead of spiking it. They also offer beta-carotene, which supports vision and immunity, two things we all need more of after 60. Bottom line? Potatoes aren't evil, but eaten too often, especially in unhealthy forms, they can quietly chip away at your metabolic health. At this stage in life, comfort should never come at the cost of circulation, energy, or longevity. Could this common vegetable be fueling your inflammation after 60? Eggplant. It looks healthy, tastes mild, and shows up in everything from Mediterranean dishes to stir-fries. But here's what most people don't know: after 60, eggplant can quietly turn into a source of inflammation and organ stress, especially if you're already dealing with joint issues, kidney trouble, or digestion problems. Let's break it down. Eggplant naturally contains compounds called alkaloids and oxalates. Alkaloids are part of the plant's defense system, but in your body, especially if you're sensitive or aging, they can trigger inflammatory responses in your joints, muscles, and nerves. A 2021 study published in Frontiers in Pharmacology found that these alkaloids can increase oxidative stress and interfere with nerve signaling, potentially making symptoms like stiffness, fatigue, or even brain fog worse. Then there are oxalates, which bind to calcium and can contribute to kidney stone formation. And since kidney function naturally declines with age, this becomes a real concern for older adults. It doesn't stop there. Eggplant has a sponge-like texture, which means it easily soaks up oil, especially when fried or grilled. That excess oil, combined with heat and the natural plant compounds, amplifies inflammation, particularly in people already dealing with arthritis or gut sensitivity. If you've noticed joint swelling, bloating, or heaviness after eating eggplant, it's worth paying attention. For those with underlying conditions, this seemingly innocent vegetable can silently aggravate the very systems you're trying to protect. So what's the takeaway? You don't have to cut out eggplant entirely, but if you have arthritis, kidney concerns, or digestion issues, eat it only occasionally, in small portions, and always well cooked. Soaking it in salted water and removing the skin can also help reduce its irritants. Because at this age, every ingredient matters, and eggplant? It might be beautiful on the outside, but it requires real caution on the inside. Why canned tomatoes could be sabotaging your heart and hormones after 60. You've probably heard that tomatoes are good for you, and fresh ones are. But if you're regularly reaching for canned tomatoes, especially after age 60, it's time to take a closer look. Because what's inside that can isn't just tomatoes, it could be silently harming your heart, hormones, and long-term health. Here's why. Most canned tomatoes are packaged in metal containers lined with a chemical called BPA, bisphenol A. It's used to prevent rust and extend shelf life, but in your body, BPA acts as an endocrine disruptor. That means it interferes with your hormone balance, including estrogen and testosterone, which are already naturally declining with age. And it gets worse. Tomatoes are acidic. That acid breaks down the BPA lining, allowing it to leach directly into the food. So every time you eat canned tomatoes, you're not just getting lycopene, you're getting a dose of hormone-altering chemicals. A 2020 study published in Environmental Research found that adults with the highest BPA levels had a 91% increased risk of heart disease. And that's not all. BPA is also linked to high blood pressure, liver and kidney strain, and even mood imbalances. There's another issue too: sodium. 1 cup of canned tomato sauce can contain over 500 milligrams of sodium, nearly a quarter of your daily limit. That kind of salt load, especially if you're managing hypertension or taking heart medications, can quickly throw your system off. So, what's the smarter move? Switch to fresh tomatoes, or use tomato sauces that come in glass jars. labeled BPA-free and unsweetened. You can also roast fresh tomatoes at home with olive oil and garlic for a flavorful anti-inflammatory boost. No toxins. No hormone interference. Because after 60, every bite either builds you up or breaks you down. And canned tomatoes? They might seem harmless, but they're one of the sneakiest health traps in the pantry. Make the switch today, and let your heart and hormones breathe a little easier. The healthy vegetable that could be harming your joints and gut after 60, spinach. Spinach is often hailed as a superfood, and while it does pack plenty of vitamins and antioxidants, for many adults over 60, it might not be as friendly as it seems, especially if you're eating it in large amounts or every day. Here's why. Spinach is extremely high in oxalates, naturally occurring compounds that can build up in the body and lead to problems over time. In younger, healthy adults, these oxalates are usually flushed out through the kidneys, but after 60, kidney function naturally slows down, and excess oxalates are more likely to accumulate. The result? Painful kidney stones, joint stiffness, and even digestive irritation. If you've ever felt bloated or had nagging joint pain after a salad, spinach could be playing a role, especially raw spinach. The oxalates can bind to calcium and iron, preventing your body from absorbing these essential minerals. Over time, this can actually weaken your bones and deplete your energy, even though you think you're eating something healthy. In fact, a 2019 study in nephrology dialysis transplantation found that high oxalate intake significantly increased kidney stone risk in older adults with reduced kidney function. But here's the good news: you don't have to eliminate spinach completely. You just have to eat it smart. Lightly steaming or sautéing spinach reduces oxalate levels by up to 80%, making it safer and easier to digest. Also, rotate your greens, swap in arugula, romaine, or watercress, which have similar benefits but far lower oxalate content. Because after 60, nutrition isn't just about getting enough nutrients, it's about avoiding compounds your body can't process like it used to. And spinach? It might be doing more harm than good unless it's cooked and balanced properly. The power of choosing the right vegetables after 60. By the time we reach 60, every bite we take carries more weight than we might think. The truth is, not all vegetables are created equal. Some are powerful allies for your heart, brain, and digestive system. Others, though they may look innocent, quietly stir up inflammation, spike your blood pressure, and throw your hormones out of balance. And the difference doesn't lie in how much you eat, but in what you choose. The key is awareness. When you understand how your aging body responds to certain foods, you reclaim control. You're not guessing. You're making targeted, informed choices that build real strength from the inside out. So, let's turn this information into action. Comment below. Which vegetable surprised you the most today? Was there one you thought was healthy, but might be quietly working against you? And if you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Every week, we're breaking down the latest science into real-world tools to help you stay strong, sharp, and independent well into your 70s. 80s, and beyond. Because thriving after 60 isn't about restriction or fear. It's about clarity, strategy, and feeding your body what it truly needs to flourish. You've got more strength in you than you realize. Let's keep building it, one smart choice at a time.